Right, my name is Lucas, and you guys may know me as Beetly. I'm a Scandinavian Halo player, and I'm currently playing for Question Reality. However, in the past, I played for Skitlight and attended various events for them.
So, Lucas, early on in the Pro Series, you guys have been playing with a squad that made it the top four twice in week one and week two. But recently, you've suffered from maybe a bit of a bad luck in the bracket. How do you guys think you performed in week four?
Yeah, so for the first 2 weeks, we placed top four, and we played the first cup with Hollers, obviously a very well-known player in Europe, and second cup with Outcast. And we managed to get top four in those cups. A little bit lucky on the bracket, but I still believe that we're capable of a top four finish. So the last 2 weeks were the polar difference. We got what you call bracket fucked, but anyways, you still have to be able to beat any team, so I can't complain. But I still think we did pretty okay last week. We got matched up against Quadios and Snakey's team for the first round, and we had some really close games, but we didn't manage to close those games out. So we got first rounded in the two latest cups. So
The last few weeks have thrown up a few shock wins. I mean, Final Form that beat Power in week three. Some other teams that have made, gone the distance, including yourselves. I mean, I think top four was great to see you guys, in there. But who else is catching your eye in terms of the European Pro Series?
yeah, it's like you mentioned, the last week's win where Final Form beat Power. That was pretty spectacular win for them and fun to watch actually. Otherwise, I don't think it hasn't been that many upsets, but one team that I'm really impressed with is, of course, the big Cartel. How they managed to close out all the games, and in last cup I watched them play against Market from Batchford's POV, and he was absolutely shitting on them in Empire Strongholds game, but Cartel still managed to close that game out. So that just shows how well coordinated they are, and they can still close out games even though there are other players that perform very well on the opposite team. So I'm still really impressed with Cartel and how they're playing. Of course, I want to play them and show what I can do and what my team can do, but hopefully not that early, so I can manage to get a better placement, of course. But definitely, of course, we can't want to avoid them.
I know you guys were working with the new org, and last weekend was your first outing with the new org. What's your plans for the future, and are you excited with the new org and the roster you have?
Yeah, so we just signed for the new org called Question Reality, and the CEO is just a great guy, so very excited to represent them. Obviously, I played for Skitlight for a very long time, and I'm bringing in my Scandinavian friends to representing this US org, and will do my best to represent them as good as possible, of course. I just took on a full-time job now, though, but no one knows when Infinite comes out, but when it drops, I will put in as much time as possible to be able to become the best.
There's just one more week to the season finale then for Europe. What's the goal this week? I mean, surely you are maybe on the borderline after some poor 2 weeks with the bracket, but you surely will want to go far this week in order to secure your place and to secure a decent seeding.
Yeah, so this last week is the big one because it qualifies. If you get top 8, you qualify for the season championship, obviously. So that is our main goal. And we're just hoping to not get unlucky bracket. And if we do, we just have to perform, Obviously, just get the top 8 and get the secure placement into the championship bracket. But if we can do more than that, of course, that will just be an extra. And of course, I want to get back to the top 4 level we were in the first 2 cups. So that's what we're aiming for this last cup before the championship one.
Thanks, Lucas, for coming on. Really appreciate you, your time coming on to talk to us today, and all the best with this weekend and such a crucial weekend it is for you and the squad.
Yeah, so I just want to do a little quick shout out to the new org. Of course, go follow them on Twitter. And if anyone wants to take Lundy's place on the team, just DM me and you're good to go,
That's great. Thanks again, anyway.
One, two, one, two, one, two, one, two.